Chav Zayin, Amud Aleph, 27 Shabbos. So yesterday we learned a machlokas Rav and Abaya regarding the machlokas from Shimon ben Elazar and Tana Devei Rabbi Shmuel regarding whether garments of tzemer upishtim only can be matame with negoim, or whether other begadim, not tzemer upishtim, also can be matame negoim if they're 3 tfachim or greater. So Abaya said no, but Rava said one of the Tanoim holds that even by shar begadim, other materials like silk, like cotton, like other materials, there would also be a din of tumas negoim if it was 3 by 3 tfachim in size. So I'm starting at the end of the Chav Vav on the days. That the machlokas between Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar and Rabbi Shmuel is this din of shlosha tfachim by other begadim. So Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar is slate. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar holds there is such tumah. And Latana Rabbi Shmuel less slate. Rabbi Shmuel says no, only tzemer upishtim has tumas negoim, not other begadim. But according to Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, who says there is tumah by other begadim, shlosha b'shar begadim and ole. Where is the source that other begadim has tumah? So nafka me obegin. Now this is a pasuk dealing with tumas sheretz, not tumas negoim. Tumas negoim is when you get saras in a garment. Of course, you can have saras in a house, and you can have saras in a human being. So that's one, but that's a tumah that emanates from your body. And tumas saras has a whole process. You're tummy for 7 days. Then you need korbanos for kapara. Okay. But there's a different type of tumah sheretz. Let's say there's shmona shrotzim. There are 8 types of creeping, crawling animals, like weasels, minks, things like that, these kind of animals, that their carcass, only these kind of 8 shrotzim, provides tumah. If you touch them, if you carry them, or if they touch a beged. So there is a pasuk in Vayikra that says, O beged, o sak. A beged, or leather, or sackcloth, that they are metame with tumah shrotzim. So the Brisa says beged, Eli ela beged. That's a regular beged where there's no specific type of detail. Shlosha b'shar begadim minayin. What about, does a sheretz convey tumah to begadim not made out of tzemer upishtim or sak if they're 3 tfachim or greater? Talmud loymar o beged. So Rava has a source for the Tana that holds that there is tumah for begadim greater than 3 by 3 tfachim from o beged. Now Abaya, who learns there is no such tumah by shar begadim. Abaya was the one who learned that both Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar and Rabbi Shmuel held there was no tumah except for tzemer upishtim. So what does Abaya do with this limud of o beged? The Abaya hi o beged my avidle. What does he do with this o beged? Milboile le rabois sholosh al sholosh b'tzemer upishtim de metame b'shrotzim. That even a garment, tzemer upishtim, that's 3 by 3 etzbos, which is really small, is metame with tumah shrotzim. Because I might have thought that it's not, because it's not really a choshev dika beg. The Rava that doesn't need that. Gali rachmana gabi negoim v'hu adin lishrotzim. That it told us that by tumas negoim it's considered a beged, so certainly it would be a beged by shrotzim. However, Abaya doesn't accept that. Ikla mifra. Mal negoim shekain shesi ve'ev metame behem. You don't need a full weave just the warp in the woof is enough for tumas nagoim. Maybe that's why you have tuma by tsemel pishtim, even by shlosha etzbos, but it wouldn't work by shrotzim, says Abaye. The idich, what does Rava say with that? So if you're going to tell me nagoim are more chamer, so lichtev rachmona gabi shrotzim. The Torah could have written the whole din by shrotzim. We know that nagoim are more chamer dik. Tumah sheretz is a one-day tumah. You get touched by sheretz, you go to the mikveh, you have hair of shemesh that night already tore, you can already eat truma and kotche. Tumas nagoim requires a whole 7-day process. On the 8th day, you have to bring korbanos. You need to be dabbed on your finger, your big thumb, your big toe. It's a very complicated process. So if the Torah could have revealed it by shrotzim, and I would have learned nagoim from it. The idich, what does Abaye say to that? Nagoim shrotzim la'asu. No, we wouldn't have been able to learn nagoim from shrotzim. Why? The ikla mifrach. There is a detail by Tuma Sheretz which makes it more stringent. Normally, you need either kazayas or you need food the size of a kabeya, but Tuma Sheretz is metame even the size of a lentil bean. Even a piece of the dead sheretz, the size of a lentil bean, will already be metame. So there's a certain chumrah there. So the Gemara Abaye says we would have been able to learn the din from a Kal V'chomer teaching it by shrotzim, and I would have learned it for sure by Nagoim. Okay. So Amar Abaye, Hi Tan Rabbi Shmuel, Matik Nidich Tan Rabbi Shmuel. This Rabbi Shmuel that learned the way Abaye learned that there is no tumah by sharp godim. The tumah of Nagoim is only by Tzemer Upishtim, is in Machlokas with another Tanad Rabbi Shmuel, is what the Gemara is going to show here. Because the Tanad Rabbi Shmuel, there's a Baraisa named Rabbi Shmuel, Beged. It says, Beged, Ainli ala Beged Tzemer Upishtim. That teaches me wool and linen. Minay la Rabbi Tzemer Gmalim. What about camel hair? V'tzemer anorvim, rabbit hair, or nutza shel izim, goat hair. V'ashirayim v'aklach v'asrikin. These are like silk. That they also makabel tumah. So we see right away that this Tanna Rabbi Shmuel is different than the other Rabbi. Yesterday we learned Rabbi Shmuel that said there was no tumah other than beged tzemer upishtim. Here we have a Rabbi Shmuel that seems to suggest there's tumah by all these other things. Talmud Lemer o beged, that the word o is a ribui and comes to be marbe these other begodim. So Rava doesn't have a problem. Rava Amar ki lesli lachtan Rabbi Shmuel b'shar begodim shalosh shal shalosh. Rabbi Shmuel, Rava who learns that Rabbi Shmuel holds of tumah only it's got to be 3 by 3 tfachim. He says that the one brisa that says there is no tumah, that's when it's 3 by 3 etzbos, 3 by 3 finger breadths. And the brisa that you just brought me that shows that there is shlosh al shlosha islay, even if it's made out of something else, not semerish pishti. Frank the Gemara, that doesn't work. But Rava who do amar shlosh al shlosha Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar islay leslay. You can't answer that because Rava was the one who said that even Rabbi Shmuel doesn't hold that there's even by 3 tfachim that there's any tumah. So the Gemara says, in fact, Rava went back from that day in order to resolve this difficulty that we just brought, that we brought another baraisa that showed that Rabbi Shmuel holds in some conditions there will be tumah. Rava has to go back on what he said before, that Rabbi Shmuel never holds of tumah. In fact, he holds of it. It just depends on the size. That in order, you don't want to say that Rava went back on it. You can just say it's. You quoted it Rava. It's really Rav Papa who said it. Now, a different Rav Papa Omar. that the original words of Rabbi Shmuel that we said before, learning from the Goy, that has to be Tzemer Ufishtim, he didn't mean it by Negoyim. Says Rav Papa Lasui Kloim, that it's only by Tzemer Upishtim that there's going to be a din of Kloim. Frank the Gemara, I don't need Rav Papa to tell me that. Kloim Badeksiv. It says Lo Tilbash Shatneis, Tzemer Upishtim Yachtav. So what kind of chiddush are you telling me? The pasuk says there's only shatnez by weaving wool and linen together. Still, I needed Rav Papa's statement because Salka died the Chamina Hanimili Derech Levisha. That which we say that there's a din of shatnez with Tzemer Ufishtim, that's if you wear the garments as clothing. Aval beha'alah. Let's say you just cover yourself with it. Not really derech levisha. You just sort of put a toga over you. Maybe kol tremine osir. Maybe it's not just tzemer upishtim. Maybe it'll be any kind of two threads that you put together. And it's not just, and therefore, we need Rabbi Shmuel to say, no, even by halah, it's tzemer ufishtim. Frank the Gemara of a lot of Kal V'chomer who, no, this whole thing doesn't make sense. Because we can learn with the Kal V'chomer. Malavisha to come asani kula gufa mekloim. When you wear clothing, the whole body benefits. You told me. Amrit, tzemer ufishtim in. Midiachrini lo. It's only a combination of wool and linen that creates kloim, nothing else. So Allah kol shagei. So certainly Allah is less warming for us than regular clothing. It certainly would only be chayiv tzemer upishtim. Ella the Rav Papa Bedusahi. This what you just tried to say, that Rav Papa tried to explain the words of Rabbi Shmuel there, that it had nothing to do with Nagoim, that when it said it's only beged tzemer upishtim, it had to do with kloim, it's not correct. It's not correct. Medusa means it's like it's just not correct. Now, even so, Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak also says that those words of Rabbi Shmuel were also not talking about Tumah, it's talking about something else. It says, Af kol, when it says over there in the pasuk, kol, it's like kol beged, it's lasui tzitzis. That the only kind of garment that is machayiv tzitzis are garments made out of wool or linen. Freik the Gemara, ba'deik tzitzis, ba'deik siv lo tilbash shatei tzemer ufishtim. The Torah seems to say that. And immediately afterwards it says, uksiv gedilim tasalach al arba kanfos ksutcha asher techaseh. And from the smichus, in the words of don't wear shatis and make tzitzis, we learned that tzitzis are only made of things that have a din shatis, which is tzemer upishtim. So the Gemara says no. Because maybe we would learn like Rava. What was Rava? The Rava. Ksiv haknaf min knaf. Right? The pasuk says, "V'nasnu al tzitzis hakanaf psil techedes." So from there it says, it seems that min knaf means that which you put in the corner should be the same species. The tzitzis should be the same species. What's in the garment? So if the garment's silk, your tzitzis should be made for silk. If your garment is cotton, your tzitzis should be made from cotton. But then it says uksiv tzemer ufishtim yachdav. Then it says you should wear the tzitzis should be only tzemer upishtim together. So how come from one limud it's learning that it could be that the tzitzis should be made out of the material that the beged is made. And there's another pasuk that seems to suggest that tzitzis has to be made out of either wool or linen. Okay, so we learn a din. If you make tzitzis out of wool or out of linen, it'll pater any beged. Shar meaning, but other garments not made out of other garments, beminan poitrin, shalo beminan ein poitrin. That means a garment made out of cotton or silk, only since it's made out of those garments will pater the beged. If you try to put something else on it, it won't pater. So salkadaita kiderava. So maybe we would have thought that over there the Tana Rabbi Shmuel held like Rava. So to say no, Kamash Malan, that they don't hold like that. That it's only Beged Semru Pishtim that there's din of tzitzis. Because that's what the Tana Rabbi Shmuel over there said. It said Beged Semru Pishtim. So he wants to say that it's got to be made out of Beged Semru Pishtim. By the way, let's go back. Shol Ravacha Brederas Ravashi. The Tana Rabbi Shmuel, according to Rabbi Shmuel, Maishna le'inyan Tumah. The Marbi Sharp Gwadim, it seems that he, according to the way, certainly according to Rava learned, that there was Tumas Gwadim even by things not Semru Pishtim. As long as it was 3 by 3 Tfachim, Dichsiv O Beged, because O Beged means it's a Lashon Riboy. So maybe Achanami Lema, by Tzitzis as well, L'Rabois Sharp Gwadim, from the Pasuk, Me'asher Techasebah. Because there's a pasuk that says that Asher Techasebah, that's referring to tzitzis, and maybe that'll come to say, tell me that the rabbis all got it, not just Semru Pishtim. So the Gemara says, the Asher Techasebah comes to teach me that the garment of a blind person is chayiv in tzitzis. Now, why isn't that a davar pashut? It's not a davar pashut. I need a limud for it. The Tanya, because by tzitzis it says, uri isem also, prat liksus laila. It excludes a pajama, a garment that's only worn at night, from tzitzis, because people, there's no re'isem also. Ato omer prat liksus laila, who says maybe it comes to exclude that a blind person doesn't have to put tzitzis on his garments. So more learns from Asher Techasebah, it's a riboy to include even a ksusuma. And Hamani Makayim Urisam also. So what do we learn from Urisam also? Probably ksus laila. So Umara Isa L'Rabbi Suma L'Otzik Laila. So the Gemara is bothered from logic. Why was it more logical to include the garment of a blind person? Why didn't they just include a garment of a pajama? Well, why did they go one way or the other? What pushed them that the ribu should go for ksus suma? So the Gemara says it's logic. Marbani ksus suma sheyeshna b're'iyah eitz lachemu. It's a very good logic. Other people can see what a blind person wears. Nobody can see ksus laila because it's dark. So that is why the Gemara excludes ksus suma. Umotani ksus laila she'ena b'riyetz lachem. So the aim, or maybe we'll learn not like that. Maybe Asher Techasebah is l'Rabbi Sharp Godim. According to Rabbi Shmuel, who learned that it's only Beged, it's only Semru Pishtim that have the din tzitzis. Maybe Asher Techasebah comes to say any garment that you clothe yourself with should be Mechayev tzitzis. Mistavra Koi b'Semru Pishtim. And the reason over there just talked because it was discussing Semru Pishtim, Marbet Semru Pishtim. So there over there, it talked about Semru Pishtim. Koibit Semru Pishtim Marbet Sharp Godim. Well, here, when you talk about also tzemer upishtim. Why all of a sudden would you consider to be marbe other begodim? Like Rashi says, bit me. It's a question. That's not logical. So it's not a so we don't we don't bring that kasha because it's not logical. Because when you're dealing with tzemer upishtim, there's no reason to also include other begodim. Now, by the way, I wanted to bring the halach l'maisa. I'm going to read what the Shulchan Aruch says. Haposkim od b'mosa gaonim nechleku b'she'ela im begodim she'enam tzemer upishtim mechuyavim in haTorah b'tzitzis. That from the time of the Gaonim, they already discussed whether garments not made of wool or linen are chayv in haTorah b'tzitzis. V'yesh poskim ha'mekablim shitas Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak Kan shebeged omer b'Torah hu tzemer upishtim bilvad. The Gemara we learned right now that Rav Nachman came out that only begodim tzemer upishtim. That's why we said komash shmalon. That the Tanat Rabbi Shmuel, the way Rav Nachman learned, why did he say beged tzemer upishtim to tell me only tzemer upishtim required tzitzis? Other begodim there's no din tzitzis. V'chei nifsek b'Shulchan Aruch. And Rav Yosef Karo, in fact, paskins that way. That tzitzis min haTorah is only mechuyev on garments made out of wool or linen, but other garments not. The Yesha pasku shalacha karava, but other holds that we paskin like Rava shemin haTorah chayavin kol abgadim b'tzitzis. Ela sheniftar b'tzitzis memina. The only thing is, you need to use tzitzis made out of the same garment. So if you have a cotton garment, your tzitzis have to be made out of cotton. V'chein posa karamo. Now, the din of tzemer upishtim, that patters any garment. That's why a lot of our tzitzis are made out of wool, because it'll passel any garment. It'll patter any garment. But if it's made out of shar begodim, your tzitzis have to be made out of whatever that other garment is made. So that's an important halach. Then it says, in the same seif, we're talking about Or Chaim Siman Tes. We learned Sif Aleph. This is Sif Beis. Tzitzis are asush mit semer. If the fringes themselves are made out of wool or pishtim, poitros b'chol minei begodim. They will patter any garment you put the tzitzis on. So that's why tzitzis are usually made of wool, and they'll patter any garment. V'yesh sha'amru she'en latil tzitzis shel pishtan v'bnei maris ha'ayin. Not to use flax, because I guess maybe because then, anyways, he says we don't make linen tzitzis, we make wool tzitzis. Then he says shar minim keminim, l'chol hadayos tzitzis shel shar minim that are not made out of tzemer pishtim. If you have a garment made out of cotton or silk, einan poitros el b'minon, v'lo b'chol meracher. Shel inyan zeh mekabim divrei bracha. They have to be made out of min. And what about ksus suma? Suma chayiv b'tzitzis min haTorah. Because we pass like the Baraisa. That would seem to be the way the Gemara ended up. What about ksus laila? L'fi anira mishmos divrei Talmud b'kama mekos divsek halacha ki ksus laila p'tur mitzitzis. Ulam nechleku aposke v'meshmalusu shelabitu yesh omrim ki kol beged shemiskase bo bayom chayiv ubeged shemiskase b'laila potter, says the Rambam. The yesh omrim ki beged am yuchad liyom chayiv af b'laila. For example, if you wear a suit during the daytime, if you wear that suit at night, it's certainly chayiv in tzitzis. Ubeged am yuchad b'laila potter af b'yom. But for example, if you wear a pajama during the daytime, it would potter even if you wore it in the daytime. We only make a bracha on tzitzis on a garment that's worn during the daytime, and that bracha is only made during the daytime. Yes.
So what? The din is taloy on the garment as opposed to the din of tzitzit, because it seems like you wear a garment at night, you don't have to put on tzitzit. You wear a garment.
That's correct.
Yeah, so what? It's taloya.
Nobody said like this. If you wear a date, he said if you wear a daytime garment at night.
But if you wear a nighttime garment during the day, you're potter from tzitzit. How's that possible?
Yeah, the Rosh says, Yesh oimrim ki beged amiyuchad liyom chayiv af balayla.
Okay, But what about balayla lo chayav bayom?
Oh, and then he said, Beged Amiyuchad L'Layla, Potter Af Bayom.
No, how is it possible?
What do you mean? If you wear, let's say, a pajama, which is only a beged you wear at night, and you waddle around it in the daytime, a ksus Layla's Potter Mitzitzis, according to the Rosh.
Hold on a second. It's got arba comforts. It's during the day.
But we just learned
the pajama has arba comforts. Huh?
We just learned Moitzi Ani Ksus Layla.
I understand what we just learned. I'm just asking you a question. I'm asking you a question whether there's a difference in halacha. If tzitzis is chayav on the din of yom, or tzitzis is chayav on the din of the beged. And the fima shani or that tzitzis is on chayav on the yom because you can see it.
It is a bit so. Okay, but what problem do you have with the fact that a ksus laila is potter mitzitzis? So if you wear that garment as well during the day, it's not chayv and tzitzis because it's a beged amiyuchad l'layla.
But it's not tzitzis is not miyuchad whether it's laila or not. Tzitzis is miyuchad. Tzitzis is a din of yom. Tzitzis is a din of yom. It's not a din of a garment.
It is because the Gemara just said. It could have been my ksus tuma.
Not garments that for the whole on Shabbos, you're parted from putting on tzitzis.
A ksus laila is parted from tzitzis, according to the Rosh. According to the Rosh.
Do we pass?
According to the Rosh, beged amiyuchad laila potter af bayom.
Do we pass?
We make sure that when we make the bracha, we only do it on
I'm not asking you that question. I'm asking you the question: is the din of tzitzit? Is the din of tzitzit taloi on the yom? Is the din of tzitzit taloi on the yom, or is the din of tzitzit taloi on the beged? It seems from the Rosh that you taloi on the beged.
The Ba'er Heitev says machmir and chiyuv b'tzitzis kashtei shitos. So he says we're machmir, but meikarat that you do wear it. If the ksus laila during the day you would wear it, but that's a machmir. Meikarat din according to the Rosh it's potter. I don't have a problem with that because the Gemara learned that we potter a ksus laila, and so the Rosh declared it. If you wear ksus laila even in the daytime, there's no chiyuv tzitzis because the garment was niftar. It's because it's a garment that usually is not seen. The fact that the guy had decided to wear it in the daytime doesn't make a difference.
So if it becomes fashionable to wear a pajama during the day, what happens then? Then it becomes a normal wear.
Then it's not a ksus that normally people are not going to see. The Gemara is holding that a ksus laila people didn't see, acherim didn't see. When a blind person goes out with his clothes, people see it. So that's why they included a ksusuma that is chayiv in tzitzis. But a ksus laila normally people don't see. So if all of a sudden pajamas become the fashion of the day, they would be required in tzitzis.
Ernie, I'm asking you a different question. I hear what you're saying. The question that I'm asking you is, right, is it a din? And you have a din chefetz and a din gabra. Yeah. Is it a din?
It's a din in the beged. Din in the beged.
It's not a din in the yom? That's not how we learn.
It's a din in the beged because, Walter, a three-cornered garment is not chayiv in tzitzis.
But no.
And by the way, Walter,
it's a din. If you got a four-cornered garment and you wear it at night, right? You got a four-cornered garment.
You're not makayim tzitzis.
Four-cornered garment, that's a different halacha because that's halacha. But that doesn't mean it's not a din in the yom. It's a din in the yom. It's not a din. It's not a din on a beged. If it's a four-cornered garment in the yom and a four-cornered garment at night, you don't wear it at night. But if it's a four-cornered garment and you put it on because you wore it at night, you put it on in the morning. What is that? It's a din in the yom.
By the way, we don't have to wear it. For example, we normally don't wear four-cornered garments. So we have no chiyuv tzitzis. There's no chiyuv to put it on. There's no chiyuv on the gavra to wear tzitzis. We happen to make sure that our tzitzis are foregone and we put it on because we want to be makayim that mitzvah. But there's no chiyuv to do it. We have no chiyuv to wear tzitzis during the day.
That question, I understand that.
You asked me, is it a chiyuv gavra? Is it a chiyuv chefza? So
no, I didn't ask you that. I said just like there's a chiyuv on a gavra and a chiyuv on a chefza, there's a chiyuv over here. There's a din in the yom. The yom is the din of tzitzis. The yom is the din of the tzitzis. It's not a din of the garment. So how can you say if you bring a garment?
Walter, you just learned the Gemara with me, ksus laila. What is a ksus laila?
If you wore it at night.
Okay, fine.
They can hear you.
Who's they?
Ariela's giving a Zoom share.
Upstairs?
And she
can hear me upstairs?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
Sorry.
So there's another, my daughter-in-law is giving a share to Beulah on Zoom.
I'm hearing it.
But I told you to go upstairs. Okay. So the Enochanami, the Rosh is a Chiddush Dikadin, Walter, no question about it. So he extended the P'tur of Ksus Laila that even if you wore it in the daytime, he said it's Potter. We are Machmir like the Shita that says you wear tzitzis on it. It's just the Shita of the Rosh. I think it's a very interesting Shita because he says a Ksus Laila is Potter. Okay. But okay. But I think we got a nice overview of the dinim of tzitzis here. Okay, Amr Abai, Reb Shimon Elazar v'Sumchus Amr Davar Echad. That the Tana, Reb Shimon Elazar and Sumchus said the same din. Reb Shimon Elazar, which we said about garments, do they are makabel tum or not? Right? We said Reb Shimon Elazar Islay. Let me see. We said Reb Shimon ben Elazar Islay. He held that there was Tumah by sharp Godim if it was 3x3. And Sumchas Lechura is going to say the same thing. Reb Shimon ben Elazar Hadamar. The Sumchas, what Sumchas here? The Tanya. Sumchas Omer, Sichacha B'Tavui. You made schach out of threads that were woven. So psula, because you can't use something that's makabel tuma as schach. And this kind of tavui, which is like a woven, threads that are woven, are makabel tuma. Kimki aitana. So that's like Rosh Hashanah Lazar, who said, Shesi ve'erev b'tabe b'negomim miyah, de Reb Meir. That means the moment you weave them, you don't have to do anything else, they're already makabel tuma. And Rabbi Yehuda Amar, Hashesi Mishayishalim. This is like the warp, right? One is the warp, one is the woof. This is the one thread goes this way, the other thread goes this way. So one thread, there was a cauldron that they would cook the thread and I guess transfer the dye into the thread. So it's got to wait until it comes out of the cauldron. The ha'erev is matame miyah. The ha'erev is miyah. However, ha'oinin shel pishton, pieces of flax, is makabel tuma only mashiyas labnu, but if they become white in the oven. And Sumchas holds like Rav Meir. That's matame the right when it's woven. So he holds like Rav Elazar that a garment that is woven is already makabel tuma, doesn't require any other processing to get it to a point where it's a finished kli, where then it's metabik tuma. According to the shitas that hold a regular beged, once it's woven, so Sumchus holds like Rav Meir, which holds like Rav Shimon ben Elazar. Okay. New Mishnah. Kolayotzim in eitz, ein madlikin bo ela pishton. So we quoted this Mishnah already. Things that are coming out of a tree don't burn very well. So you shouldn't use it for wicks, except for flax. Now, as an aside, the Mishnah says, "V'cholayotzim min ha'etz, eino metame tumas oyalim ela pishtan." Things out of wood that, we know there's a din of tumas oil. that if there's a dead body in a room, so everything in the room becomes tameh with tumas oil. Whether those items touch the mace or not, everything in the room becomes tameh. Anything in any cleat, anything that's makabel tumah becomes tumah just because they are under the same roof as the corpse.
No Jews.
Now, let's say the tent or the bias that the mace is in is made out of things that are made out of wood. There's no tumas oil, except for flax. If you make a tent out of flax, i.e. linen, so that thing will also be makabel tumah, and there's din of tumas oil. That means things in the room will still become tummy, but the oil itself will not become tummy. So if you have a house made out of wood, and there's a corpse in the room, so everything in the room becomes tummy, but the wood that is being mahil over the mace does not become tummy. But the oil that is created by the wood itself does not become tummy. But if the tent that the mace is in is made out of pishtan, the pishtan itself becomes tummy. That's what this din in the Mishnah is telling us. First of all, the Gemara has to tell us, minolan the pishtan ikri eitz. I mean, in normal vernacular, we would call the flax plant, it's called a plant. Flax is a plant. Yet the Mishnah seems to refer it as eitz. Where do we see that pishtan can be called an eitz? Amar marzutra to Amar Kra, Vihi elasoma gaga, vatitmenem bepishte eitz. Those of us we started Sefer Yoshua, we're going to learn in the next parak about Rachav Hazona, who hid the Meraglim. Yoshua also sent Meraglim, and the government was looking for them. And Rachav Hazona hid them in the flats on her roof. And it was called Pishtei Eitz. So you see, even Pishtan is called Eitz. Okay. There's a Vayotz Ben Eitz and a Metamet to Masolim and the Pishtan. That which comes out of wood does not get tumah if it's mahil over a mace, except for pishtan. The Gemara wants to know minolan. Where do you get this from? Omer Rabbi Elazar, Gomar oil mi mishkan. Gentlemen, I'm going to learn a little bit more because I realize, let me see what time is it. Yeah. I realize that next week, Wednesday night is the Seder. Thursday night is the Seder again. Friday morning, we're going to have a number of days. Now, perhaps Wednesday morning, we could learn in the morning, I suggest. But Thursday and Friday, we're still in isolation. We're not gathering. We're not going to be able to learn the Daf Yomi through Zoom. So I'm trying as much as I can we'll try to chaperine where we can chaperine a little extra blot, so we don't fall that behind, when we fall behind. So we learn it from Mishkan. This is the din of tumas oil. Moshe Rabbeinu covered he put the michse over the oil normal. Malahalan shel pishtan kori oil. So by the Mishkan, that tent that Moshe Rabbeinu put over there was made out of pishtan, and it was called oil. Afkan shel pishtan kori oil. So here as well, Zoy Sator Adam Kemus oil. We learn a Gzeirish of a pishtan. Therefore, only tents made out of pishtan will become tummy through this tumas process. Other things made out of eitz will not. So the Gemara says, why not learn the Gzeirish of Amar? Imalahalon shizurin v'chutin kaful shisha. The Mishkan was 6 ply. Afkan shizurin v'chutin kaful shisha. Maybe any time that a linen pishtan is going to become tumas oil, has to be 6 ply. Oil riba. It says oil twice. It's a riboy. The fact that the Torah repeated it, so it doesn't have to be exactly like it was in the Mishnah. So oil riba filo kol milinami. So if you're going to tell me oil is riba, why don't you include if the oil was made out of other material, not just flax? The Mishnah learned that things made out of wood or other things that come out of a tree would not become tummy. Why not say oil comes to include those things? So in King Gzer Shav Ma'anale. Well, then the Gzer Shav learning to Mishkan isn't worth anything, which was specific about Pishta. So the Gemara says, fine. Malal and Kroshim, Afkan Kroshim. Yeah, but there by the Mishkan, they also use wood, right? The Kroshim. So maybe Kroshim wood would also be Makabal Tumah. Or Makra, the Asita Kroshim La Mishkan. Mishkan, Kori Mishkan, the tent overlying the Mishkan, that's called Mishkan. But the Ein Kroshim, Kruyin Mishkan. The Kroshim are just the supports by which the tent was put on. It's the tent that's called Mishkan, not the Kroshim. Elameata, the Asisa Michsela Oyel, Hachanani Michsela Ikra Oyel. So when you, just like you said, Vasita Kroshim La Mishkan, are you tell me that the Michse was another kind of curtain that was made out of tachash? So you can tell me that that's not Midin Oyel? Elahada boy Rabbi Lazar. Then what about the question that was asked by Rabbi Lazar? By the way, it says Vasita Michsela Oyel, Oros Elim Na'adamim. Right, they use the hides of colored rams. Umichse Oyrois Tchoshim Milmala. We don't really know what the tachash is. We're going to have a whole debate soon as what is the tachash. Some kind of animal skin. So what are you going to tell me that remember, there were like a whole bunch of tents thrown over the Mishkan. There was one out of linen, and then there was this one. So what about the fact that Rabbi Lazar asked the question, or behemoth tmei? Let's say you have a non-kosher animal, a horse, a donkey, and you use its skin, and you put it to cover a mace. Mace, will that become tamei? Hashta or behemoth toyer lo tamei. You've already told me that leather from another limud, that regular leather from a cow, kosher leather, is not mitame if you cover a mace with it. Or behemoth tmei on the boy. So shiny hosam, the hadar adrei kra, because over there later it says v'nasu es yiriyos mishkan v'es ol moed michseu u'michsei atachash ashalav milmalu mekish elyon l'tachton ma tachton kori oil afa elyon kori oil. So it's only because the Torah wrote another pasuk comparing this new michseh to the original oil of linen that you put, of flax, of pishta that you put over it. That's why it's called a michseh. Otherwise, it would not be called michseh, because from the Gzeira Shava, we only learn that the din oil applies to pishta, nothing else. And only that is mitam. Okay, that at least gives us an introduction into what we're going to learn tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, and we're going to learn at 8 o'clock. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeshkoch, everybody.